Mike, welcome to another issue of the MH Energy Exchange. Thanks for being with us. We've had some great conversations about the Democrats' platform on energy and what some of the objectives were that the Democrats had. Let's talk about your job here as the Director of Sustainability for Cuyahoga County. I know you've got some initiatives for clean energy. Why don't you take a minute and talk about those?
Sure. I should start off, I was a state legislator like you were, and I was term limited out in the 2014 was my, December 2014 was my last month. And one of the things I was just so discouraged about when I left is that we had gotten rid of the renewable portfolio standard at the state level, which basically said by the year 2025, 25% of our electricity had to come from renewable or alternative resources.
We were one of only two states, or one state maybe, that went backwards on the RPS?
Correct. I think we were the only one that went backwards. So I was so discouraged by that. One of the things that, when this position with the county came forward and talked to Executive Budish about is that while the state's stepping back, it seems to me that the county needs to be stepping forward. And so Department of Sustainability was created. Chanel Smith and I, she's the deputy director, kind of stepped in, and we've been really pushing, trying to help encourage clean energy, both in terms of energy efficiency and renewables into the county. So big thing we're working on is trying to help with solar production. So we're actually working with Donald Hopkins and some other developers in terms of looking at landfills and trying to figure out how to put kind of large-scale solar developments on landfills and feeding.
Been done anywhere?
It's been done a couple places. Nowhere in Ohio, as far as I understand. It would be the first in Ohio. And we really want to use, we're working on this project with Cleveland Public Power and LeadCo, which is developing offshore wind, kind of trying to funnel that electricity into our buildings. But we want to use this as kind of a model to look at the landfills that we've got throughout the county and kind of start and practice off working with some developers to get good at, taking undevelopable land. You can't do much on landfills, right? It's brownfields. And turning them into greenfields. So turning brownfields into greenfields we think makes a lot of sense.
So I've heard, and certainly in our practice here at McDowell Hopkins, we run up against the net metering statute that the public utilities have. Really limits in many cases our ability to do significant solar. So what's different with the landfills and with your work with CPP?
So Cleveland Public Power is a municipal electric utility company. They've got more leniency, more flexibility in developing virtual net metering policies, which means that you've got solar over here, you've got your buildings over here. Virtually, that solar is being fed into the grid and fed back into your buildings. The investor-owned utilities don't have that flexibility, and at least First Energy is not, to our mind has kind of investigated trying to figure that out. So Cleveland Public Power is curious. They're interested. I think this is something where they may be able to kind of they can develop this and become good at it, build customer base.
So give us just 20 seconds on the hub.
So we created a clean energy finance hub. We were working with a company called Eutectics out of Minnesota. He's very smart about just kind of platforms about how to deploy capital, and they also have access to a lot of capital that just wants to invest in clean energy projects. So we're working with them on energy efficiency projects, renewable projects, and so far so good.
If someone's interested in that, they contact you.
Give us a call. Give me a call, Mike Foley, 216-443-3055, mfoley at cuyahogacounty.gov.
Well, I wanted to talk about the offshore wind project, but that'll be next time. But thank you for today participating in the MH Energy Exchange.